In early March 2025, the streamers Cinna, Emiru and Valkyrae were live streaming an event called the Sisathon. They were on the Santa Monica Pier having a good time together when they would encounter a man whose actions would lead to some of the most tense minutes on stream ever witnessed. The three Twitch stars were minding their own business when this man, apparently named Russell, would make a series of social faux pas and exhibit some deranged, psychotic behavior towards the woman. I'm going to play the clip of how this all started, but cringe warning, this is a tough watch.
Yes, please.
Oh God.
Oh God, yes, that is. Can I sing for a change? A change for the better, as you would say?
Okay.
And the change would be for her number.
Oh.
If you like it, can I get your number?
I don't have a phone. I'm sorry.
Wait, put your number in mine.
I don't know how to use a phone. I'm sorry.
Wait, so I'm gonna keep following her.
Huh?
I'm gonna keep following her.
God, another one! I know! You're gonna have to get in line. There's too many stalkers!
I spoke about this very recently in my short about the incident, but I want to analyse it further here. Not too much is known about Russell yet. There's a lot of speculation to be had, but as confirmed by Valkyrae and Cinna within a livestream that we'll get to in a moment, he was a fan of theirs. And he went there because he had seen that they were streaming and had gone to ask Emiru out. Now you have to ask yourself the question, why would he do something like this? And I feel as though this is a prime example of what a strong parasocial relationship and lack of social awareness looks like. If you don't know what a parasocial relationship is, by the way, it is a buzzword that's been thrown around over the past couple of years, but essentially it boils down to being a very one-sided relationship. So you, the viewer, have a very different relationship to me than I do to you, because you at the very least know about my existence. Anything I've said on camera could be yours to know. Whereas I don't know anything about you. Russell has probably watched Emiru's streams very often. He's going to know a lot about her because anything that she's ever said live is now public knowledge. And so he feels confident enough about their relationship to ask her out. A relationship that doesn't exist. For Emiru, this man is a complete stranger. She's known about his existence for maybe 30 seconds. And so for her to give him her number like that is just never going to happen. If you meet a girl in a bar, you're strangers, right? If you ask her out in the first 30 seconds of your interaction, you'll very likely get turned down. Unless you look like some sort of Greek god.
Oh no, he's hot!
But if you talk casually and get to know them a little bit better, if she can gauge your personality, she might still say no, and there's nothing wrong with that, but your chances might be slightly better than if you just asked her out immediately. In this instance, Emiru has nothing to go off other than a cringy anime monologue. And then on top of that, you have to consider that this is being broadcast live in front of the entire web. Bottom line, he's putting her on the spot. And I've been guilty of doing this too in the past. I'll put my hands up. It's not pretty, but I've never done it as badly as Russell has right here. And then you also have to consider that if she says yes, for whatever reason, if she says yes, then does it not set a precedent that any one of her fans could then go up to her in the future and ask for her number too? And if she was to say no to them, then they'd be like, oh, well, you gave it to Russell, so why not me? This leads to a very cringeworthy and awkward moment where she says that she has no phone. And by no means do I blame her for her reaction. It's an impossible position to be put in, to reject a guy in front of thousands of viewers watching. But what happened next is why this is being spoken about so much. Russell then says that he's going to keep following them, which takes this from bad to worse.
Wait, so I'm gonna keep following her.
Huh?
I'm gonna keep following her.
God, another one! I know! You're gonna have to get in line. There's too many stalkers!
The women are once again put in an impossible situation whereby they have to be smiley and happy for the camera, but deep down they probably want to tell him to F off. Valkyrae's immediate reaction to him saying that he's going to keep following them speaks 1,000 words, and his reaction to the rejection speaks just as many, if not more. This is the face of someone who is trying to put on a smile, but deep down is destroyed, even if he has no reason to be. To cut to the chase, because I'm sure that most people watching this know what happens next, Russell continues to follow them, makes unsavory comments, makes physical, violent threats, and then can be quoted as saying that he's going to kill them as he runs full speed towards them. Fortunately, the women get away, and the stream is cut shortly after. I think that we are very, very lucky that this didn't end in tragedy. There is not a single reason in the entire universe to respond to rejection with threats and violence, especially considering he was put down as softly as he possibly could be given the situation. It was only after he announced that he was going to keep following them that they brandished him as Stalker. This is incel behavior to say the very least. It shows that he has zero respect for women and their agency, and as I said in my short, I truly hope that he can be positively identified and that the full wrath of the justice system comes crushing down on him. As for the women, the next day, Valkyrae and Cinna would come out on a live stream to officially end the Sisathon and discuss the incident at length. For obvious reasons, this was a very emotionally charged stream, and I'd implore anyone who thinks that this was somehow set up or fake or staged, or anyone who was critical about how they handled the situation to give it a look. Were there some things that could have been done differently to ensure their safety? Yes. I think that from here on out, they will have security with them at all times when IRL streaming. But the onus shouldn't be on them. Within their response, they revealed that there was much more to the story than we saw on stream.
We are very much in shock, and we need you guys to know that clip does not do it justice for how scary it was. It was
like you didn't show everything that happened.
And we just want to use it as like a learning situation, because we see a lot of people saying like, oh, I would have done this if I was there, but you have no idea how fast it really happened.
They also revealed that as he was running towards them, he was trying to reach for something in his pocket. So it's very possible that he might have been armed with a weapon.
Even when he ran at us and he said he was gonna kill us, he kept running and trying to get something out of his pocket.
Furthermore, the pair announced that they were going to do everything in their power to see him face repercussions for his disgusting actions.
He's still out there, but I am investing as much as I can to find this guy. If you have any information on this man, I would like it. We're going to find him, and I'm going to do everything I can to get this guy. So
yeah, we are trying to do everything so we can get him.
They finished by saying that this is something that a number of content creators, especially female content creators, have been subjected to in the past. And while this was an absolutely horrendous situation, a small positive note can be taken from it, which is that this could empower many female content creators to come out with their stories and to break their silences on creepy fan interactions and stalkers. So today, I want to discuss other instances where content creators dealt with obsessive fans and stalkers. This is something that I've been quite aware of for some time, and even though I don't think that I've ever been stalked, I have met other content creators personally that have been. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, then you might remember that in May of 2022, I released a documentary called Discontent, which I'll link in the description. In that, I revealed my own personal struggles with online growth and interviewed 2 other content creators. One of them got hacked and had her channel shut down, and the other one, known online as Kiwo, had her life turned upside down after she was targeted by an obsessive stalker. Having spoken to her, I got a first-hand account of what it's like, and from her account, it's something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. So let's continue with another woman who's broken her silence about the dangers that women face in the industry, that being Amouranth. In case you don't know Amouranth, she's a famous live streamer, formerly on Twitch, but now on Kick. She's a streamer that's never been afraid to show off a little bit of skin, being an OnlyFans model too, and being one of the site's highest earners. According to sources, she's earned $33 million on OF by July 2022, and so now, 2.5 years on, I suspect that she's earned a lot more. However, with her level of wealth and fame come the creeps. And over the years, Amouranth, real name Caitlin Siragusa, has been unafraid to speak out about the obsessive fans that she's encountered. For example, back in June of 2022, it was revealed that she had been stalked and harassed by a man from Estonia, who apparently even went as far as trying to break into her home. On the 7th, she tweeted out that the man had been in her area since the 8th of May. He spent a month of his life there. He was also live streaming himself the entire time and revealed that he sold all of his possessions and went into debt to be there. And if you think that that's not extreme enough, which is bonkers by the way, according to Amouranth, he sold his car, his house, and even his cat. She explained that she was worried for her life as it appeared as though he didn't give himself an out. And if he has nothing to lose, then there's a concern that he could do something drastic. Not only that, but she released some texts that she had received, seemingly from him. These messages are haunting. It shows this person send 9 texts in as many minutes, and they're long ones too. And on top of that, these aren't even messages of love and adoration, they're messages of spite and hate. Assuming that these texts are from him, it's insane that someone who would spend so much of their time and money to be in the same area as her would have such a distaste for her looks and personality. But of course, that's just the mind of a delusional, obsessive fan. They very often straddle the lines of love and hate. I want to quote a line from Eminem's song Stan that I think summarizes the situation quite well. In the song, Eminem has a Stalker fan, or a stan, who's also called Stan, that writes him letters before going off the deep end and killing his girlfriend and their kid. And in one of those letters, he writes, "I loved you, Slim. We could have been together, think about it. You ruined it now. I hope you can't sleep and you dream about it." I think that this line accurately demonstrates that the intense adoration that these obsessive fans give often turns into intense hatred when their one-sided love isn't reciprocated. Now back onto Amouranth, this stalker also apparently sent her naked dance videos reminiscent of Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. On the 15th of June, she would reveal that he had been in the area for 44 days and that he had attempted to break into her house. She criticised the police's response to the situation, saying that it took them much too long to get to her house, but that they did end up arresting him. This wasn't the first time that Amouranth had dealt with obsessive fans, and it wouldn't be the last. In 2021, she revealed that someone had set off a fire on her property, and she'd also revealed that back in 2020, someone had shot fireworks at her house. I couldn't confirm if these incidents were done by the same person, or even if they were, if this person was in fact the Estonian. However, the Estonian stalker would come back in March 2023. Clearly, he hadn't got the message yet. And to critique law enforcement for a second, why was he not turned away at the border? Once more, he would try to access her house, this time while she was away at a press conference, despite her having restraining and trespassing warrants set against him. He would be turned away, but tried again 4 hours later. She also revealed that the police would once again refuse to act. It's sickening, but this is something that Kiwo mentioned in the documentary, and as will become blatantly obvious throughout the rest of this video, law enforcement in these situations are often reactive rather than proactive. They really don't do anything until the criminal has done something more serious. I completely understand that you can't minority report crime, you can't jump the gun and arrest someone before they've actually done anything, but this man has. He's clearly a threat to Siragusa, he's violated court orders, and to me the fact that they've done nothing in this situation is vile. Flash forward to August 2024, and Caitlin would give one final update on the Estonian stalker on the Pillow Talk podcast, where she had this to say.
I just have a very devoted audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I've heard about your audience. I heard some of them are a little too obsessed with you.
Yeah, a little too devoted, right? Yeah.
One guy apparently is still looking for you. He's streaming every day. Thinks he wants to marry you.
Yeah, I still see him every now and then trying to get my attention. That's the guy from Estonia, the crazy one.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Estonia. Came all the way here for you.
He did.
Where's he now?
I think he's with his drug daddy in Florida. I think he's a cover selling drugs.
Oh, so he gave up on finding you?
Oh, no, he still comes to my Discord whenever I have the chat open to chat with my viewers. He'll come in and be weird. We hear his drug daddy in the background. It's very strange.
Oh,
It appears as though obsessive fans and stalkers are now just part of her day-to-day life. It's something that she just lives with. Now, I should also mention that on the 3rd of March 2025, Amouranth dropped a tweet sharing a video of 3 men dressed in masks and allegedly armed with handguns and duct tape who were chasing her in her house before getting shot at and running away. Now, very little is known about this specific incident. All we have to go off right now is a few tweets from Amouranth and the security footage. So we don't know for absolute certainty if these guys were stalkers or if they just saw her property and, since she's very well off and has a nice house, thought that it would be a good idea to rob her. However, considering they allegedly asked her for Bitcoin, I would assume that, provided this is real, they did know who she was. Because how else would they know that she even had Bitcoin? Amouranth has perhaps naively revealed that she's made more than $20 million from crypto investments. So maybe they didn't watch her content, but they just came across these articles. But then, to find out where she lived, these people must have sought out her personal information. I should clarify that many people are skeptical that this is just some sort of a popularity stunt and that it's faked for attention or something, but I'm not going to delve into the legitimacy of this, especially in these sorts of situations. Unless they're confirmed to be fake, I'm always going to believe the people that say that they've experienced these sorts of traumas. Especially considering if you were caught lying about this, it would be the most insane, manipulative thing I could even dream of. And on a somewhat similar note of obsessive fans who have broken into a content creator's home while armed, I think that a natural follow-up to that is Gavin Free and Meg Turney's home invasion. In case you don't know Gavin by name, you might recognize him as one half of the Slow-Mo Guys or for his work on Rooster Teeth. He can be considered quite an OG of YouTube, as he's been active on the platform for more than 15 years now, and throughout that time he's made several ultra-viral videos, with his most popular uploads having view counts in the tens of millions. However, back in early 2018, his life was changed forever after a brush with an obsessive fan, a 23-year-old named Christopher Eric Giles. Christopher was described in court documents as single, lonely, and disturbed. It was reported that on that fateful day, Giles had driven 11 hours from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Austin, Texas in order to break into the house of Gavin Free and his partner Meg Turney. Turney, in case you don't know her, is also an internet personality. She's worked at Rooster Teeth alongside Gav, and also at SourceFed, and has a combined total of a little more than 400,000 followers between her YouTube and Twitch channels. So the pair of Gav and Meg were both at their home in late January, when at 3:40 AM, Christopher Eric Giles arrived there, armed with a gun, apparently looking to cause harm to the inhabitants of the home. Specifically to Gavin, who it said that he had a deep resentment for. Keep in mind that these two men do not know each other, but in the delusional mind of Christopher Eric Giles, this man, who doesn't even know of his existence, has angered him so much that entering his home armed with a gun is the only option. It's said that he had developed a fondness of Turney, but since she was dating Gavin, Giles was jealous of the life that the pair had built together and the success that they had seen. Back onto the invasion, apparently he fired a gunshot into the glass of a door to gain entry to the home, which woke Gavin and Meg up. They hid in their bedroom closet and called the authorities. Law enforcement arrived as Giles was leaving, fortunately not being able to find them in the closet. There was reportedly a short standoff whereby Giles shot first. The following shootout resulted in Giles getting shot dead, and the officer that shot him, named Matthew Jackson, was placed on routine administrative leave. However, it was later revealed that while Officer Jackson had hit him 3 times, Giles died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and so there were no charges brought towards Officer Jackson. Gavin would come out to discuss his experience years later on Anthony Padilla's show I Spent a Day With, where he had this to say about the incident and the perpetrator.
I'd never had any interaction with this person. I even went back and looked through tweets. I was like, did I ever have like a online altercation with this person? And I couldn't find any trace that I'd ever said a single thing to this person. I try not to like look too far into it because the guy clearly just needed so much help.
I am very glad that Gavin and Meg were able to walk away from the situation physically unharmed. But one has to question just what kind of damage this must do to your mental health, because this sort of thing must be traumatizing. And I'm sure that this damage to mental health is shared by Sweet Anita, the next content creator that we're going to discuss. For several years between the late 2010s and early 2020s, she detailed how she had a stalker invade her private life too. So for anyone who's unaware of it, let me share her story. For those of you who don't know who Sweet Anita is, she's a Twitch streamer with just shy of 2 million followers on the platform. Lots of people know her because of her Tourette's. She's had many clips go viral in the past because she has the form of Tourette's where she'll say random things. And so obviously if she's live, sometimes she'll say something that's absolutely insane without actually wanting to. However, she's much more than her Tourette's. She's a fully formed human being with loves, hates, ambitions and fears, which is something that stalkers and obsessed fans often forget. On the 8th of November 2019, she revealed that she had a stalker that had moved house to be 4 minutes away from her, and the police didn't do anything about it. To make matters even worse, she said that he was caught and detained the night prior. The police had witness statements and screenshots and audio recordings, and the stalker was found with a knife on his person. You would assume that this would immediately be grounds for a lengthy prison sentence, but she revealed that he was released with a caution. A very common theme in this video is that law enforcement in both the UK and US is disgustingly lenient on this sort of thing, and what I'm about to tell you next I think perfectly highlights this. On the 8th of April 2020, she would make a statement that her stalker had been convicted. He was banned from entering her town, was given a restraining order, and a suspended sentence of 2 months in prison. Still, I'd argue that this was a lenient punishment. However, this was by no means the end of her harassment. Flash forward to mid-2020, and Sweet Anita would post this tweet where he sent her a death threat. He said that he was going to kill her with something more extreme than a kitchen knife. Then she wrote about him waiting for her outside her house. This was a story that would also be told on a livestream.
Yeah, so I had a stalker. They've been stalking me for quite a few months, actually. They've been coming to my house. They've been sleeping pretty much in my backyard, watching the house. And the other day, some shopkeepers had to intervene and kind of hold him back while he chased after me. Because he waited outside my house, followed me into a shop, then waited for me outside the shop, and when I told him to leave me alone and asked if he had a knife, he didn't respond. When I said, "Are you going to let me walk home alone?" he said yes, and then when I went across the road, he started chasing, and 2 guys ran out the shop and grabbed him, and then grabbed hold of the gate to another area of town, and so I went through the gate, and they held it closed so that he couldn't pass them and continue to follow me. It's not the worst thing he's done. He has actually physically assaulted me.
The police would respond to the tweets, and she replied to them, saying that she was not at all confident that anything would be done about it, considering that her attempts to get him dealt with had all been useless up until then. On the 7th of September 2020, Sweet Anita would upload a video to YouTube titled, "How Can I Stop My Stalker? Please Help." This is a video that I'd wholeheartedly recommend for you to check out if you're interested in a first-person account of what her experience was like. I'll link the video in the description, but within it, she makes several haunting and heartbreaking statements about her situation. She revealed more threats that he made. She mentioned that he looked through her postbox, that he doxed her personal information, and that her restraining order against him, which took her much too long to get in the first place, was not being legally enforced. Worse yet, she also revealed that he was now possibly even targeting her family. Later on in this video, she interviewed several other content creators, for example Sush Kitty, X-Chocobars, Caseytron and Destiny, all of whom have had run-ins with stalkers and doxers. This video that Sweet Anita made was published 4.5 years ago, and despite her best efforts, not enough has been done. It's clear to see that internet personalities, but specifically female streamers, still go through this nightmare. Whether it be Kiwo, or Valkyrae, or Cinna, or Emiru, or Amouranth, Turney, Sweet Anita, Sush Kitty, X-Chocobars, or Caseytron, or even one of the guys, how many more have to suffer at the hands of obsessive stalkers before something is actually done about it? Let me say that I don't have all of the answers. Really, I only have observations. For any sort of real change, we would need legislation, a substantial shift in society, and a substantial shift in how the police deals with these sorts of situations. But I want to take you back to a video that I made back in 2023 titled "The Darkest Depths of the E-Girl Community," in which I discussed the harassment that women online often face. In the video, I said this. And I think it's so important to carry on talking about this because it doesn't look like too much is changing, and I honestly worry that we could be looking at tragedy not too far in the distant future. There is a very real chance of something awful happening if we don't figure out a way to stop this kind of behaviour. In the 2 years since I made that video, I still think the statement rings true. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments because I'd love to open up a dialogue. I hope that this video has served as a way to inform you on this topic because having spoken to other content creators, this sort of thing happens all too often. And while you're down there in the comments, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this and you haven't already. If you want to check out another video from me and want more stories about deranged and delusional individuals, then why not take a look at my video about dating app sickening catfishes next. It's a fantastic, criminally underrated video of mine. If you loved this, I'm sure you'll love that one too. Aside from that, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.